सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So just read from Paramam Yo Mahat Tejaha. Paramam yo mahattejah, paramam yo mahattapaha, paramam yo mahadbrahma, paramam yaf parayanam, pavitranam pavitram yo mangalanam cha mangalam, daivatam devatanam cha bhutanam yo yaf pitaha, yatas sarvani bhutani bhavantyadi yugagame, यस्मिंच प्रलयं यान्ति पुनरेव युगक्षये तस्य लोकप्रधानस्य जगन्नाथस्य भूपते विष्णोर्नाम सहस्रं मे शृणु पापभयापहम्। So yatas sarvani bhutani. So,
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So sorry, sir. Sir, if you don't mind, after the class, could you please just explain me what are those two lines in brief again? After the class, Pavitranam Pavitram Yo.
Oh yes. You stay in the class. I will explain you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So yatas sarvani bhutani. So sarvani means all, and yatas sarvani means from whom all the beings. So bhutani means all the beings. So all the living beings, non-living beings, from whom it comes into existence. So bhavanti. So bhavanti means that which comes into existence, or that which is taking birth. It's called bhavanti. Adi Yugagame. So Adi Yugagame means right from the beginning. For many yugas, this creation has been there. It is not just only this yuga it is there. This has been there for many yuga. So we saw also the explanation of the four yugas, Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga. Then we have the Treta Yuga, then Dwapara Yuga. Now we are in Kali Yuga. So all the four yugas, this particular creation has been there and it's always been there. So yatas sarvani bhutani bhavantyadi yugagame. Then yasmincha. So yasmincha pralayam yantihi. So yaha asmincha means the only from whom he is the only one who is responsible for the pralayam also. So when the Maha Pralayam happens, when all of the jivas finally become knowledgeable, like all of the finally the time is over for this entire Srishti, which is 420,000 years is the Kali Yuga. So we are only in the 5024, something like this. So we've got plenty of time to go through the entire Yuga. So many till 420,000 years, the jivas will be dying and taking birth again, and they will, as and when the time passes, the environment or the world which you're living in will not be the same. It will again degrade. It will not going to be better. It is going to be always going towards the worst. So as we see, whatever was the previous generation we had, we don't have this environment anymore. The current generation which we are living will not be available for the future generation also. So example could be the previous generation were successful in so many things. The current generation, the things are different. The future generation who are going to be there will be different. So there will be more, technology oriented. There will be few other things. There will be new things to be invented. Life will be short. So many things will be there. So what it means is that as we go through the time process, all of them will again be evolving into new yuga. So after the end of the Kali Yuga, everybody will have to come back to Krita Yuga. So there will be a new Srishti when everybody will be clean. And again from clean, again you again start, again go back. So this is the cycle. Okay. So we do not have to wait for that long. Somebody may say, I'll wait for 420,000 years. We do not even know whether we will be alive in next few years. So it is futile. It is also not correct to have the assumption that you are going to be living that long for you to achieve everything. So whatever time you have, you make use of it. So the Vishnu Sahasranama is mainly to fast track that approach, because there is no other Saguna Brahma Upasana which is as powerful as the Vishnu Sahasranama. Okay. So Yasmincha Pralayam Yanti Punareva Yugakshaye. So Punar Evaha means again the Yuga will again come into existence. Punareva Yugakshaye. So the Pralayam talks about the unmanifest and the manifestation. So when you say unmanifest, it means from which everything comes into existence and from which everything goes back also. I think some people might be dialing into the old. Give me 1 minute. So Punareva Yugakshaye. So manifestation means appearance of something from the existence. An example could be that when we go to deep sleep state, or when we are having a very good nights at night, at that time we do not have knowledge about our existence also. So we do not even know we exist. So there is complete lack of knowledge about us. So that is called unmanifest. Means knowledge is not manifest. So when I say knowledge is manifest, it means you know about yourself, you know about other people, you know about other objects. So in deep sleep state, you do not even know who is sleeping next to you. You don't know who your father is, mother is, brother is. So in deep sleep state, you do not have any idea about who you are. Okay. So it is called unmanifest. So then again in the morning when you wake up, the same relationship or the same people whom you could not recognize in deep sleep state is again available for recognition. So you again know them as your brother, your sister, your father, mother, friendship, etc. So this is how the example is given as unmanifest and manifest. So Punareva Yugakshaye means when the Yuga Kshayaha, when the Yugam is actually finished, then Punareva, again the Yugam starts again. So the cycle of creation continues irrespective of whether somebody is there or not, it is automatic. So that's what it says. Yatas sarvani bhutani bhavantyadi yugagame yaspincha pralayam yanti punareva yugakshaye. The next one. Tasya loka pradhanasya Jagannathasya bhupate Tasya loka pradhanasya Jagannathasya bhupate Vishnor nama sahasram me Shunu papa bayapaham Tasya loka pradhanasya Jagannathasya bhupate Vishnu nama sahasram me Shunu papa bayapaham. So he is loka pradhanasya. So this who is loka pradhanaha? Is pradhanaha means the foremost, and loka pradhana means the one who is the foremost in all the lokas. So there are 14 lokas. In all the 14 lokas, he is the foremost or the pradhanaha. So loka pradhana asyaha. Asyaha means such a person. Who is he? Jagannatha asyaha. So he is called Jagannatha. Or Natha means Lord, and Jagan or Jagat means Jagannatha means the ruler of the Jagat. And Jagat does not indicate the universe which you are living in, it indicates the entire cosmos. So he is the Lord of everything, and is also called as Loka Pradhanaha. So there are adjectives for the same Vishnu, who is called Loka Pradhanaha Asyaha, and Jagannatha Asyaha. Then Bhupatehe. So Bhupatihi. Bhupate means those, that Bhagavan. Bhupate. So Bhupate means Bhuhu Patihi. Patihi means the Lord. The overlordship of the Bhuhu, the Bhupatehe. So Bhupatehe. Then Vishnur Namaha. So Vishnur Namaha means that which belongs to Vishnu. Vishnur Namaha. So that nam or that name belongs to Vishnu is of how Sahasra Namaha. So Sahasram means 1,000. So there are 1,000 names of the Vishnu which belongs to this particular Bhagavan, who is described as Loka Pradhanaha, Jagannatha, Bhupatihi. And such a person, may shunuhu, may you listen. Shunuhu means listen, and may shunuhu means may you listen. For listen from me. And when you listen to what happens? Papa Baya Paham. So Papa Baya Paham means, Papaha means the fear. So there's a fear of coming from omissions and commissions. So when they say omission means there are something which you forget to do, and there are something which you do which are not correct. So everybody is not correct. Everybody makes mistakes. Even a learned person also can make mistakes, because to make mistakes is human. We are not superhuman. We are not the Bhagavan, where we can never make mistakes. Even the people living in Indraloka, Brahmaloka also can make mistakes. So it is all possible. So, but what it says here is that because of the nature of such a criticality, so it is possible for us to make a mistake. So papaha. So when you do papa means you incur some sort of, some problem. It could be, some sort of difficulty you have. So this is called papaha. And bhaya. See, bhayaha means fear. And what is the fear? The fear is actually, there are two types of fear. Three types of fear. Fear is one which is from the external source. So the external source could be Adi Bhautikaha, so which could be from your surroundings. It could be some insect, it could be some other animals going around, or it could be something else which is causing you problem. Or people around you also causing you problem also is bhayam. So you always sometimes fear about people may harm you, either by words or by deeds or by action. So there is some fear which is there. And everybody has some sort of a fear about, nobody is fearless. There's always fear from Bhagavan, fear from the government, from the police, law enforcement, taxman. So many things are fear. There's nothing like, because you are doing everything right, but there's always a fear that something it's possible that I would have made some mistake and I would be found out. So there's always a fear. So this is also one type of fear. Then there's a fear about the Adi-Daivikaha, which is fear from the natural phenomena. There could be famine, there could be lightning, there could be flood, there will be no rain also. All these are fear also. So this also includes fear also. Then one's own understanding of fear also is important. So you fear for your own cause which is not known to you at all. You just fear because you're just an insecure person. So when you're insecure, you have a fear. What if I don't have the property? What if I don't have a house? What if people don't respect me? Or what if people think me that I'm not a learned person? So many things are there which is internal to you, which is not caused by anybody outside of you. It is something which is inside of you, which is purely your own bhaya. Right? So that's called bhaya. But here it talks about the ultimate bhaya. What is the ultimate bhaya a person can have? The fear of death. What if I go tomorrow? If I finish my life tomorrow, what happens? So this fear, everybody has got it. So even the jnani also has got a fear. The wise person also has got the same fear, just as the ajnani also. But the ajnani, what does he do? He fears and he fears and he keeps fearing all the time. So he's waiting for the time and he's really afraid of what will happen when the time comes. He doesn't have an answer. He doesn't know how to deal the situation. Right? So the fear can be in any form. Fear can be something happening to your relation. Fear can be something losing a person. Fear can be something, getting so many things. Fear can happen. So the fear, insecurity can be a big problem. And if you are not well versed, or if you do not are in a position to handle this, then you would be exposed to such a fear and you would not know how to handle it. So that's why the Shastram tells that fear is something which is in the mind itself. It has nothing to do with anything else outside. The fear is purely due to your understanding of what it is. So the mind is the cause of the fear. So here, the fear is psychological, and various papams or the one occur or one's account is because of the fear. So because of the fear, one has got a lot of papams also in this. Then what he says here, Shrunu Papa Bhaya Paham. Paham means I will remove you, or by chanting this mantra, 1000 names of Vishnu Sahasranama, one can free yourself from samsara, or one can free yourself from this fear. Right? So the Vishnu Sahasranama here is a Saguna Brahma Upasanam. So Upasanam, when I say Upasanam, means some contemplation on a meditation, you can say. So meditation on the Sagunaha, or the form with attributes. So when you say guna, it means it has got a form, it has got attributes. So rupaha. So sagunaha means with attributes. Nirgunaha means without attributes. So finally, one has to first start with sagunaha. So one cannot directly visualize or contemplate on the formless Bhagavan. In reality, the Bhagavan is actually formless. He doesn't have any form. If you've gone to Kedarnath temple, you would have seen that the temple there, the Shiva, He's only, Shiva is only a stone. It's just a stone there. He has got no form there. It's just a rock. And the rock is being worshipped as Shiva. Whereas in other temples, there is a proper way of structuring the Shiva there. The Shivalinga there. So what it tells is, the Shivalinga also is there as Saguna Brahma. The stone also is Saguna Brahma there. So how do you have to first have to develop a habit of, so first you'll have to develop a habit of worshipping the Bhagavan through Saguna. You cannot directly go to worshipping the Bhagavan as Nirguna, because Nirguna means you have to have no attributes. How will you contemplate on something which has got no form? Very difficult. Correct. So one has to understand what Sagunam is. So here the Sahasranama here says that you do not worry about this at the moment. At the moment you just focus on understanding what it means, it says here. So 1,000 names of Bhagavan I'm going to illustrate, I'm going to narrate. So Shrunu. So Shrunu means listen. Right. So Tasya Loka Pradhanasya. So the Loka Pradhanaha means the Lord of the Lokaha, Pradhanaha. Then Jagannathaha. So adjective for Vishnu, Jagannathaha. Bhupatehe, another name for Bhagavan, Bhupatehe. He has not even come to the name set. He's just saying this is what it is. Bhupatehi, Jagannathaha, Loka Pradhanaha. Then Vishnohor Nama Sahasram Me. So listen from me. Shrunu Papa Bhayapaham. So Papam will be removed and Bhayam also will be removed. So that's why Vishnu Sahasranama is always chanted. Any place you go, Vishnu Sahasranama is chanted, and one should know Vishnu Sahasranama chanting. Whether you know other things or not, one has to know Vishnu Sahasranama chanting along with the meaning. It's much better. So 1,000 words, but can we restrict the Bhagavan 1,000 words? No. 1,000 words are given just to start. See, all the 1,000 words are only a name. And there are different types of names, different types of objects saying this. But all of the 1,000 names, they ultimately represent only one. The Nama is only one. Sorry, the Namas are many, but the Nami is only one. So Nami means the person to whom the Nama belongs. Correct. So Sahasranama, when we say, this Sahasranama means 1,000 names. And this Nama belongs to one Nami called Vishnu. Okay. So Namaha means a lot of names. Nami is only one. So you may have 4 names. You will be called somebody, 4 different names from your house. Somebody will call Papa. Somebody will call Tata. When you ask somebody, they say, I was called like this in childhood. So people call me still that name. When somebody else they'll call you some other long name, they'll call you. Somebody will shorten the name, Krish. Say Krishnamurti is there. Krishnaji, Krish, Murti. You have some other name in your childhood. Or your wife will have a pet name, she'll call you by that name. All the 5 names indicate to what? 5 different people? No. They indicate only one person. So 5 different names for one person. So 1,000 names, one Bhagavan. So that's why Vishnu Sahasranama. Right. So Shrunu Papa Payapaham. Right. Then Yani Namani Gaunani Vikyatani Mahatmanaha Yani Namani Gaunani Vikyatani Mahatmanaha Rishibhir Parigitani Tani Vakshyami Bhutaye Rishibhir Parigitani Tani Vakshyami Bhutaye Yani Namani Gaunani Vikyatani Mahatmanaha Rishibhir Parikitani Tani Vakshyami Bhutaye. So, see, Yani Namani Gaunani. So Namani, as I told you, so those the Bhagavan who is known as so many names, those names that are connected to one guna. So Gaunani, so gunaha. Yani means those namani, those names, that which has got names. And Gaunani mean those which has got gunas. Then Vikhyatani Mahatmanaha. So that which is described well. Or Vikhyatani mean those which is well known. Where is it known? In Shruti and Puranas. So Vikhyatani means the Shruti and the Puranas, they have been known for generations. And how is it? Mahatmanaha. Vikhyatani Mahatmanaha. So Mahat means very great, very big, and Mahatmanaha. So this Vishnu Sahasranama indicates that Bhagavan, not Parameshwara, who is of the nature of greatness or vastness or omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, all the words you can use, of this nature, who is represented by Namani, by different names. And Gaunani mean those different gunas also. So all the names, Namaha, Gunaha, they are attributes of the Bhagavan. And that is how it has been described by who? Rishibihi. Rishibihi. So the Rishis. Then, how did they say Gitani, Parigitani? So Gitaha means by they have sung this. So Vishnu Sahasranama is with Parayan. So it's a Parayanam, so it is Gitani. How? Well recited. Parigitani. So Gitani itself means recitation, and Parigitani means that which is well recited. So well recited, and its glories are praised. And the rishis are called the seers, or the original rishis, the sages called. And they are spoken in the Puranas. Right? And Tani Vakshyami Bhutaye. So I am now going to Parigitani mean I am going to tell you what is available in the Vedas. And here Bhishma does not take ownership of saying what he is going to say. It is not what his view is. See, when he says, I am going to say, it means that it is not Bhishma's view. It is what he has heard. And from now onwards, what Bhishma talks about is what he has heard. And from whom? Rishibir Parigitani. So I have heard from the rishis, and I have heard rishis chanting, and the recitation I heard, and that is what I am going to tell you. And Vakshyami, Tani Vakshyami. So it is not my own creation, it is not my own interpretation. It is the glory of the Lord, the vibhuti of the Lord, which is I am going to narrate, which I have heard from many people before. So who are these Rishibihi? So Rishibir means of the rishis or belong to the rishis, and Gitani, recitation, and Parigitani means well recited or well narrated. Tani Vakshyami Bhupathe, Tani Vakshyami Bhutaye. So that which is I am going to talk about it is in the Puranas, Bhutaye. Yani namani gaunani vikhyatani mahatmanaha rishibhir parigitani tani vakshyami bhutaye. So they say bhutaye, not, you must understand it is not bhutaha. Bhutaye means the vibhuti or the glory. So bhutaye means here called bhutihi or vibhutihi. Not the vibhuti you apply on your head. So vibhutihi means the glory of the Lord or the fame of the Lord. It's called vibhutihi. So here, tani vakshyami bhutaye means I am going to narrate now the vibhuti of the Lord or the glory of this Lord. So by chanting the Vishnu Sahasranama, one produces punyam or one acquires punyam. And according to one sankalpaha, vibhuti is gained. Sankalpa means depending upon what you want. And if you are constantly chanting this mantra, then the particular result is achieved. It is like, in an exam also, if you want to get good marks, and if you are studying every day, regularly, systematically for a long period of time, regularly you study, there is no chance of failure. Because you are very confident that when you go to the exam, you will know exactly what it is. See, if a person doesn't prepare himself, then it is a problem. Or the person doesn't like the subject at all, then it could be a problem. But if you are very confident and if you have prepared your subject very well and you have been if you are doing systematic study every day, then you yourself are confident that yes, I understand what it is and I can face the problem or face the exam. Whereas if you are not doing anything at all, then naturally you are insecure. That's why he says here, is that Tani vakshyami bhutaye. So I'm going to now tell you the vibhuti. So just by understanding the glory of the Lord, you will understand why it is important. Because they are now, Bhishma is not talking about himself. He is not even talking about that this is my understanding of what Lord Vishnu is. He says, this is what I have heard. So he is not claiming ownership about something which is created. He says, this is not my creation. This is not my shloka. This is not my sahasranama. This is what I have heard from different people. Like the Veda Shastram or whichever what I am teaching, it is not my teaching. It is not what I am saying. It is what the Veda says. It is what I have heard from my teacher, and my teacher has heard from other teacher. The teacher has heard from Chinmayananda. So that's a tradition of teaching there. So all of the people who have been studying, they have been told the same message consistently, and that is what is being said. So tomorrow, when somebody of you become a teacher, also the same message will be passed on the same manner, unadulterated. So you must not claim that it is my own understanding, my own creation, or I have invented a new method of teaching, new method of unfoldment, etc. All these people are all humbug. You must not go to such people. When somebody comes and tells you it is my own understanding, my own theory, analysis, my own way of interpreting things, and such a person doesn't have any background or has no guru at all, such a person you must respect as a person, but not accept him as a teacher. It's very important. Because you will find in your life so many people come and go, as teachers come and go, as different advice. But what you should do is that which is not contradicting your belief, not contradicting your lifestyle, not contradicting what Veda says. If something contradicts you, then then that's a problem. So you must not be it should help you in your lifestyle. It should help you in getting your doubts clear. Such is the method of teaching. That's what it says, Tani vakshyami bhutaye. Vakshyami means what? I'm going to narrate now. I'm going to tell you in detail without modifying anything, without changing anything. So the following verses, they are chanted now for the Parayanam purpose. Okay. Rashir Nam Nam Sahasrasya Rashir Nam Nam Sahasrasya Vedabhyaso Mahamunihi Rashir Nam Nam Sahasrasya Vedabhyaso Mahamunihi Chando Nishtupthatha Devo Chando Nushtup Tatha Devo Bhagavan Devaki Sutaha. Chando Nushtup Tatha Devo Bhagavan Devaki Sutaha. Rishir Nam Nam Sahasrasya Veda Vyaso Mahamunihi. Chando Nushtup Tatha Devo Bhagavan Devaki Sutaha. So, see here, Veda Vyasaha is Rishi. Okay. So, Veda Vyasaha. Why is called Vyasaha? Because Vyasa means to separate or to split. And Veda Vyasa, when we say, the Veda itself, when it was introduced or when the Bhagavan from Sadashiva Samanamba, Vyasa Shankara Madhyama. So that's why we always say Vyasa Shankara. So because from the Sadashiva, from the Shiva, the Vedas were created, or the Vedas belongs to the Shiva. And then Vyasaha. So Vyasa came into existence because Vyasa was the first one to listen to this first unfoldment by the Bhagavan itself. So Vyasa is Vishnu Rupaya. So we always say what Vyasa is Vishnu Rupaha. Right? So there's not Vishnu also called Vyasaha. So then the Vyasa itself was the one who split the Vedas into 4 parts, considering that, oh, this is too big, difficult for anyone to master. Not even people will not even attempt to learn this Vedas, because the 4 Vedas are big itself, very big. And one cannot even complete one Veda in his lifetime. It is not even possible for a person to even master one Veda. If you are a Yajurvedi or a Rigvedi or a Samavedi also, you cannot even master one Shaka of the Veda. Okay. So, because it's so vast, so many mantras, so many texts are there, it is impossible for you to learn. It's possible, but your entire life will be spent only on that, and you will not be able to do anything else. So that means that Anushtanam should be there. So because we cannot possibly do that, we do this, at least whatever we can do. So Veda Vyasaha is the Rishi. Okay. Then Anushtupu, see, Anushtupu is a Chandas, right? So Chandas means a meter. Anushtup, Trishtup, Brahati, Panktihi. Right? So there are 7 meters. 7 meters: Gayatri, Ushnik, Brahati, Pankti, Trishtup, Jagat, Chandamsi. Right? So the 7 meters are there. So when you do the Sandhyavandanam, you will do, right? So the 7 meters are there. So Anushtup, Trishtup. So here, Chando Anushtup is the Chandas, right? And which consists of 32 letters. Anushtup is made of 32 letters. And such a deity is being spoken here, that Tatha Devaha. So such a deity or such a person or such a Bhagavan, he is being spoken here as Devaki Sutaha. So Devaki, or the deity spoken is Devaki here. Devaki is Devata. So Veda Vyasa is Rishi. So Rishir Nam Nam. So they say Nam Nam means what? Rishi Namaha. So the Rishi who were called as Veda Vyasaha is the one Mahamuni. He is the Mahamuni, not even ordinary Muni. So Mahamuni means the Rishi of the Rishis. So Mahamuni. And Muni also means a wise person. So Dhiraha, Munihi, Jnanihi, all are called wise person. So Mahamuni. Chandaha, Chandas, Chando Anushtup means The Anustuk means the meter, and Chandas is the Chandas in which the particular meter is sung. Okay. So Anustuk Chandaha. Then Tatha Devo Bhagavan Devaki Sutaha. So Sutaha means son. So Devaki Sutaha. Then from here, from this mantra onwards, the Nyasaha starts. So Nyasam means the method of cleansing one's own self. So the word Nyasaha itself means placing, or knee. The word knee itself means placing. And the various parts of the body is touched to cleanse. Because before you do any puja, etc., also, you have to take bath, number one. So you have to have a clean shower. You must wear only those clothes which are relevant for the puja. You must not wear something which is, you just got out of the bedroom, you already slept in the same pajama or some other clothes you already have, and you just go and, because of winter, you're lazy to wash, so you just hang it there. You just go and take bath and put the old garments and come back and do puja. No. You must have a vastram dedicated only for that puja. So if you are having a vastram for Sandhya Vandanam, you should have only that vastram. It can be in a place, every day you use that vastram and you just use it for the occasion. You go and change to something else, it is okay. But you must not use that vastram for something else. So it is the method of having, discipline. So taking bath is important. One of the first foremost is Nyasaha, is also one of the cleansing the physical part of it, body also. Then the second aspect of this is also to cleanse before you do the puja also, one has to cleanse yourself by touching the different parts of the body. So in Rudram also we have Lagu Nyasaha. So in Lagu Nyasam we have, and in Rudram we also got Mahanyasaha also. So where different mantras are chanted and different parts of the body is touched, so that we are protected and we are not disturbed by external environment. Because even to take bath and come back also, we will be in a situation where it is not comfortable, and one has to first be eligible to perform the puja also, one has to make yourself eligible. So for that you have to do Nyasa. So here, from here onwards called, all these particular mantras, they form the aspect of the Nyasaha. So the intention basically is that you have to raise yourself up to that point where you are eligible to be ready for offering to the Bhagavan. Amritam Shuddhavo Bijam Shakti Devaki Nandanaha. Amritam Shuddhavo Bijam Shakti Devaki Nandanaha. Shama Hridayam Tasya Shantyate Vinijujyate. Amritam Shuddhavo Bijam. So, see, the Vishnu Sahasranama mantra here is referred as the tree, as the fruit yielding tree. The Vishnu Sahasranama is referred as the fruit yielding tree. You see the word Bijam, they say here. The Bijam means the seed of the tree. And the seed, if you look at here, the seed is in unmanifest form. Right? The seed itself, the entire small seed has got the entire tree in it, correct? The small seed you go and buy in your garden shop, you go and buy it. He'll give you a small seed. And what do you say? He tells you it is actually a banyan tree, or it is a some fig tree. But you do not see the tree there, correct? But you understand there's a tree inside this. That's how you buy the seed. You do not go and buy the tree ready-made, because you cannot buy that whole banyan tree and come and plant in your house. It's not possible. Neither he will be able to sell it also. You can't afford also. So what do? You buy a seed, maybe 4 or 5 seeds. Out of maybe 5, one will survive. So you buy those 5 seeds, and then the seed you understand as the essence of the tree. Right? So here also, this Vishnu is a seed form, is Bijam. So he is present as the seed, and from the seed he is actually unmanifest, because you do not know what the seed looks like, what the tree looks like. You only know that the seed is like this. You cannot see the tree itself yet. And neither you can guarantee that the seed is going to come at a particular time. See, you may want to plant the seed, you have bought the seed, and you have gone and planted the seed in your garden, you are watering it regularly, adding cow manure, adding fertilizer, etc., everything adding there. And you are saying that please come out, please come out, please come out every day. It will not come out. When the time is ready for it, will come. Right? When the time is ready for the tree to mature, at the time only it will appear. The same way, we also, our own papam and punyam, we do not know how we are. It is an unmanifest form. When the time is ready for it to manifest, it will come in some form or the other. It will come in sort of some pain, some pleasure, some anger. So it is a seed form. Okay. So just like you have the seed in the tree, the same Vishnu also is in the seed form. So our own likes and dislikes are in seed form. We do not know how it is. We think this is what we have, this is what we know. But in reality, we do not know how. There are lots of things which is still in seed form, which is unmanifest form. Right? Sometimes you wonder why I am getting angry, or why I am having all these crazy desires, or why I have this craving, etc., or why I don't have this at least. So you can either have it or you don't have it. Sometimes you ask a question, why I am behaving like this, or why people are behaving like this also. Because all of these are actually in seed form. It is the time hasn't come for it to manifest. But when the time comes, it can be in any form. It can be in the form of the neighbor, your husband, your wife, your children, brother, sister. Anybody can be a reason for that to manifest. That's why he says here, chanting the Vishnu Sahasranama will protect you from this kind of papa. So Shunu Papa Payapaham. Same here also. Amritaha. Amritam Shuddhavaha. Amritam Shuddhavaha means, so here this seed is called Amritam Shuddhavaha. Then I'll complete this next class. I'll just give you a meaning of this today. Amritam Shuddhavaha Bijam. So Bijam is like the tree. Okay. And Amritam Shuddhavaha is the name of the Lord that occurs in the Stotram itself. So you can say that Bijam is equal to Amritam Shuddhavaha, is the name of the Lord. Okay. So seed. Right. Then Shaktihi. So the complete Shaktihi, or the complete power, is in the tree, of the tree is in the seed form. The complete Shakti. Okay. It is a subtle form, you do not see it. But you know it is there. And you always have hope that I'll have a mango tree. Like, when I planted the mango tree in my backyard, about 5 years ago, we all thought that it is going to yield tree in 3 years' time, mangoes. And after 5 years, first time we got 2 mangoes, 3 mangoes. So what it means is like, the tree, it will take its own time to mature. The leaves will come and go, and it has got its own kalaha, time, which we do not know when it is. So such is the potency of this Bhagavan, who is the seed form here, called Amritam Shuddhavaha. Amritam Shuddhavaha. Then Shaktihi is a potential that is present in the seed. Okay. How we see it is, imagine a Devaki Nandanaha. So Devaki Nandanaha means another name of the Lord. So Nandanaha. So the child of Devaki, Devaki Nandanaha. So Devaki Nandanaha is the Shaktihi. Bijam is equal to Amritam Shuddhavaha. So you have to contemplate. So how you have to do Nyasam is, when they say Nyasam means you have to remember this. So whenever you chant the Sahasranama, you sit there, Amritam Shuddhavo Bijam Shakti Devaki Nandanaha. So when you say Shakti Devaki Nandanaha, oh, Shakti is in this form, Devaki Nandanaha. Amritam Shuddhavaha is a seed, so it is unmanifest form. So in this way you have to contemplate. So it is understanding the Bhagavan and the meaning of this important, correct? Then Trisama Hridayam. So Trisamaha is another name for the Lord. Trisamaha. So Devaki Nandanaha is son of Devaki. Okay. And Trisamaha is the name of the Lord, another name of the Lord. And where should contemplate Hridayam? So you have to contemplate this Bhagavan Trisamaha in the Hridayam, right? In the heart. So you have to visualize this Vishnu as Trisamaha in the heart. So Amritam Shuddhavaha as Bijam, as Bijaha, then Shaktihi as Devaki Nandanaha, then Trisamaha as the Hridayam, okay. Then Tasya Shantyarte Viniyujyate, correct. So for Shantihi, for that Tasya Shanti, for that Shantihi, or for calm and tranquility, Viniyujyate means one has to be committed. So I commit myself for having the Shantihi. I invoke this Vishnu in the form of Amritam Shuddhavaha as a Bijam. So Amritam Shuddhavaha Bijam. Shaktihi is equal to Devaki Nandanaha, son of Devaki. Then Trisamaha Hridayam. So Trisama is the name of the Lord also. So in Hridayam I am contemplating on Trisamaha. Then for what I am doing is for Shantihi, for attaining Shantihi. Artehe. So Shantihi, Artaha means for attaining the Shantihi. Viniyujyate. So for that I am committed to this. Amritam Shuddhavo Bijam Shakti Devaki Nandanaha Trisama Hridayam Tasya Shantyate Viniyujyate. Okay. Next we look at 21. Vishnum Jishnum Mahavishnum Vishnum Jishnum Mahavishnum Prabha Vishnum Maheshwaram Prabha Vishnum Maheshwaram Vishnum Jishnum Mahavishnum Prabha Vishnum Maheshwaram Aneka Rupa Daityantam Aneka Rupa Daityantam Namami Purushottamam Namami Purushottamam. So this is a Namaskara mantra, a solution or a salutation. So this is a Namaskara mantra. So Vishnum Jishnum Mahavishnum Prabha Vishnum Maheshwaram Aneka Rupaha Daityantam Namami Purushottamam. So here, Vishnu is, we already know Vishnu. Vishnu, Jishnu, Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is seen as Virata Rupaha or Aneka Rupaha, Mahavishnu. So Vishnu is Eka Rupaha, Mahavishnu is Aneka Rupaha. He is Vishwarupaha. And Prabha Vishnu. So Prabha Vishnu means the one which has got immense strength. Prabha Vishnu or Prabha, when you say also is shining through. So Prabha Vishnu. Then Maheshwaraha. So Maheshwaraha is the Lord of the Lord also. Maheshwaraha. So Maheshwara means there is no difference between Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwaraha. So when you say Maheshwaraha, it includes all. It includes Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva also. And Prabha Vishnu, everything is Vishnu here. Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat Sri Govinda Govinda Govinda. Hope you know Sankalpam. Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat Sri Govinda Govinda Govinda. Right. So Adya Brahmanaha Dvitiya Prapte. So Adi Brahmanaha means beginning. Right. Shweta Varaha Kalpe. So all these are in the mantras. So if you know the mantra chanting, you'll know that this is talked about here. Right? So Vishnum, Jishnum, Mahavishnum, Prabhavishnum, Maheshwaram. Then Aneka Rupaha Daityantam. So Aneka Rupaha means what? Different forms. Aneka Rupaha. And see, the word Jishnum also means here that which is can vanquish or that which can eliminate. It's called Jishnu. So Vishnu, Jishnu means the one which has got the power to vanquish or to remove or to eliminate. It's called Jishnu. So Vishnu, Jishnu, Mahavishnu, Prabha Vishnu, Maheshwaraha. Then Aneka Rupaha means all different names. Aneka Rupa means different forms. Different forms is available. And Daityantam. So Daityaha is they are sons of Ditihi. So son of Ditihi. There's actually Daityas, Asuras. They are actually from Asuragula. So Daityas are from Devas and Daityas. So the Daityas are from the Asura Kula. So, and they follow the sage Kashyapa. So Kashyapa is the Rishi from whom they all originated. Okay. So there's a story there about how this Daitya name came into existence. Which I'll complete next time for you because I'm already aware that it's 5:30 now, almost 1 hour over now. So Daityaha, understand that this is source of this Ditihi. Ditihi is the person from whom everything came into existence. And this sage Kashyapa had 3 wives. So don't ask me why you have only 1 wife, etc. They had 3 wives in the olden days. It's all possible. So he had 3 wives called Danuhu, Aditi, and Ditihi. So Danuhu, Aditi, and Ditihi. So therefore, he was a father of 3 races. So he had 3 different Kulaha or Jati from where came into existence. So the one who came from Danuhu were called Danavas. So he had 3 wives. So the one or all the people who came from the lineage of Danu or from the wife, they are called Dhanavas. And Aditi is the second wife from whom everybody came, is called the Adityas. Adityas. And the Ditihi is the Daityas came into existence. So Danavas is equal to what? Asuras or non-Devatas. So Danavargal, we say they are non-Devatas or Asuras. And Adityaha, they are the Devatas or Suraha. Okay. Aditya means they are from Devatas Suraha. And Daitya also means one of the Suras, one of the Asuras. So Daityaha and Danavaha, they come from the Asura Kulaha. Adityaha come from the Devata Kulaha or Sura Kulaha. So they are Suras. That's why you'll have this Danavas, and the sage Kashyapa is worshipped in both, because he has got the lineage from both the sides. He is also the father of the Devas, as also the father of the Asuras also. So there's a story behind it which I will narrate next time. And after that we will go to our Nyasaha. So from here, all of them, Asyasri, Vishnu, Divya, Nama, Sahasram, all those things are Nyasaha. So I'll explain the mantra to you. Is it clear to you so far? So far you understood? Nitin, any questions? Is it okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, sir.
Okay. So you want to stay a little bit longer, or I can answer some of the questions, or you haven't? Okay.
Sir, just wanted to ask those two lines which I asked you. That is just how he's telling why these 1,000 names I need to recite. How important like it is.
Which one was it? Was it said?
Paramamyo, that those lines.
Oh, Paramamyo mat tejaha, Paramamyo parat tapaha. That one?
Yes, sir.
Just have a quick look. Is it Pavitranam Pavitram Yo? Is it that one or the next one?
So from that line on, that one and the next.
Okay. See, that one, Pavitranam Pavitram Yo means, Pavitrana means the auspiciousness, Pavitranam. And Pavitram Yo means, if something called auspicious is there, it is more auspicious than that. Pavitranam Pavitram Yo, Mangalanam cha Mangalam. So, Mangalam itself means auspiciousness. Correct? So, Mangalam, Kalyanam, Bhadram, they're all Pavitram, they all mean the same thing. So, different people call different names. So, Mangalam, when you say, is auspiciousness. And Mangalanam cha Mangalam means, if there was anything called auspiciousness, then it is more auspicious than what it is already auspicious. So it is, double auspicious, you can say.
Yeah, okay.
Same Pavitranam Pavitram. So Pavitram itself is purity, and Pavitrana means the Pavitram, the most purity of the purity. So there cannot be anything more purer than that. That's what is correct. And Devatam Devatanam cha. So if there's a Devata, and this is also more higher than Devatas also. Devatanam cha Bhutanam. So Bhuta means all the living beings here. Avyayaf Pitaha. So it says he is the Pita, or is the one which is imperishable of every living beings here. So he is the Pita. He is the father of everything here. So Avyayaf Pitaha. Okay. Then next one which is there is then we saw Yatas Sarvani Bhutani, right? We saw that today, right? Yatas Sarvani Bhutani we saw today. Yatas Sarvani Bhutani Bhavantyadi Yugagami. So from all this, all the living beings come out of this one Bhagavan, and it is coming out of various yugas. Bhavanti Adi Yugagami. Right? and Yasmincha Pralayam Yanti Punareva Yuvakshari, which you covered today. Is it correct? Okay. Any other questions anyone has got? Okay. So everything is clear. Okay. So next class I'll just give you a small, a story about this Daitya. So Daityanam, when you say, means belonging to Daityas. So how it's just a what you call a connection between different types of Shrutis and Puranas, etc. After that, we'll go to the Nyasa mantra, which is important. It's a very big mantra, and I'll try to break it up into small words so that you understand what it is. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Tatsate Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Hari Om.